We met in Korea. That's why I can do this.
You're budget YDCB and I'm budget Island Grown.
Yeah, that works. That works.
So
damn,
it's
like
weak.
worse than Trinity. That's the standard
worse,
now.
It's worse.
Oh my god.
how can they do Nigong like that after like buffing Tialang, which was the strongest unit in the game?
Giou is a storage monster. What are you doing? Okay, is that one unit sitting right there?
Thing is, I fed her, so.
Okay, you fed her for a good reason though. It was a good reason.
Wait, why?
Yeah, that was a good reason for me feeding her.
Hello guys, welcome to, I don't know what to call this. This is a impromptu podcast with my boy Once in Love and my boy Obabo. We met in Korea. That's why I can do this, because I don't want to talk to people I haven't met before. So I met both of them in Korea. Amazing time indeed. We spent in Korea, so now I can actually make a podcast with them after meeting them first. So I don't think we need any introduction, okay? They know who you are. They know you post YouTube video. They know you stream on Twitch. So today, our discussion will be about the balance patch and also our talk with the developers in Korea, which we've all been through, and some other random stuff. All right? Are you guys ready?
Yes.
I'm ready. I'm ready for it. I also apologize ahead of time. I am still sick, so I kind of sound like shit, but I'll try my best to mute my mic when I cough.
You sound more manly. It's okay. All right, let's start off first, because I think the biggest nerf is the first line of the balance patch. It's about Oliver. So after a couple days playing around RTA in very high rank, what do you guys think about the Oliver nerf?
It was way bigger of a nerf than the other nerf at least, where they just removed the damage. So I think it was good. But he's still like the best 33 lead, so it's not like he got hurt that much. You still pick him like every other game basically, instead of like every game. So I guess it was a good nerf in that sense. And I think also like with the way it works now, since it's only the like ATB that you reduce, you have to actually like think what you do instead of just always like spamming S3 into S2. Like, because some turns you don't even want to use your S3, you just hold it. So,
True. Have to actually think when you use that unit, right?
Yeah.
It's not that big of a difference though. Like, he's still pretty crazy.
I don't know.
Like, you definitely have to brain more. Like, you have to actually use your brain. But he still cycles skill 3, skill 2, skill 3, which is kind of still broken.
But I think when everyone is like low in attack bar, you skill 3 into skill 2, and then you get a chance to skill 3 again. That skill 3 doesn't lead to skill 2 anymore, but in the past it will lead to skill 2, and then, but I think now he's much more manageable as well.
It definitely leads to less attack bar overall. But man, it is oof. One of the other things that is notable is that when it's like before, you used to steal 100%, right? So on first turn, it wasn't actually as strong as, you know, reducing the enemy's attack bar to 0. Because if you're overcapped attack bar, you just go straight to 0. Like, you gain nothing. So it's like a change in a way that, like, yes, it is more manageable, but there's also like certain times where it's actually stronger than it was before.
Yeah, exactly. Because you can always, as long as you're like faster than the enemy unit, you can reset 2 units even though they're killed. Yeah.
But I also think what counters like to do is they introduce new counter to the meta instead of nerfing the unit to the ground. I think that's what they've been doing by introducing the Windc King, which is much more consistent at making you mad and tilt in RTA now. So you guys experienced that already?
I don't really feel him that much. I
really?
Feel like
at
right
all?
Now, like, thing is, Windc, he's kind of like before, just that he's like doing what he's supposed to, kind of. So it's like, I don't feel the difference in draft when they draft him. Because he's like, he was already supposed to do what he's doing right now, almost.
I think the biggest difference that I feel is like, now that people pick Windc King a lot more and he stuns a lot more, I just pick Josephine every single time because it's funny.
True.
There's like no reason not to pick Josephine into people because it's just always funny.
So because Windc appear and stun all the time, and then Josephine got buffed, so she also appear more often now. Do you see Josephine in higher rank now, Obabo?
Yeah, people picking Josephine a lot. I mean, I don't think the buff changed that much for her. Sure, it like I guess it lets people use their like quad speeds on crit damage that they're not really using. But other than that, she's pretty much the same because her damage is not that high anyways. But I guess it was a decent buff for her.
I think in the lower rank where people have less will runes, which is like the majority of people who are listening to this podcast right now, you know, F3 players who don't have will runes, and they go in with a control team with like, let's say, Water Ryu, Giou, Oliver, Changpeng. The first 3 unit, like let's say the strippers, like the Wind Robo, they go in without will runes. They do their whole cycle against the Windc, and they all get stunned after that, which is kind of scary. And also Oliver, they he absorb attack by one unit, and then he lose the immunity immediately after that. And when he move on to the second unit, that's when things get really risky for like full control team, that you go in without healing, immunity, or cleanse, and then you meet a wind monkey that just stun your entire team, which is very scary. And I think with the rise of the bruiser meta like that, we also have a slight nerf to the Dark M Bison. What do you think about that, Mr. Dark M Bison owner? And what do you feel about the nerf? You know?
So as someone who used him before, I think he was actually like very manageable if you don't have like a ragdoll or like something. If you don't have something crazy to go with it, you can usually like full send and like do everything to kill the Gurkha, and you'll do it, right? But the biggest change with him now is that you have to either draft him knowing that he's going to die a lot sooner, or you have to pick him in a way where you draft it so you can keep him alive. Because the way I drafted my Gurkha was always, so I need to control 2 units for like the first 10 turns maybe. And then after that, like the rest of the game doesn't matter, because everyone else on my team will kill the other 2 units like every single time, right? But nowadays it's like that timer is now like from 10 turns to like 6 turns, because after 6 turns I am dead. Like he is dying, right? Like I did test out a build on Vampire. It's really bad because you don't heal enough, because you don't do any damage. I mean, for anyone out there who's thinking Vampire, it's not the play.
hearing you say like controlling units for 10 turns to going down to 6 turns each.
But like, I mean, Oliver does the same thing, right? Like Oliver controls units even harder than that.
Yeah, I mean, Oliver was the most broken unit in the game.
True.
Like it was Oliver, then it was Gurkha, then it was Veronica, I think. In terms of like, I mean, maybe Veronica, like Gurkha is so hard to like place in how strong he was, because he was probably.
If you have other units with Gurkha, he's #1 in the game. Like, just it's undeniable. If you have Gurkha by himself, he's like top 5. He's super crazy. But there's like a lot of things that are good against him. Like Masha's good, Juno's incredibly good. Even like Veromos is very good. Like, you have lots of good options against him. So I think that he was manageable, and right now he's very manageable. I think he's still strong against people who draft badly. He can no longer be a slot 3 pick, I think. I think you have to pick him in 4 or 5. I don't think you're allowed to pick him early anymore.
I mean, I think he was supposed to be a 4 or 5 pick, because he's more like, before
definitely. Because like they overbuffed him. Like, don't get me wrong, I will 100% hands down agree. Gurkha buff was disgusting. There was no reason this should have existed. If you watched SWC, Tars played it so bad, and it didn't matter because he had Gurkha and something else, and it just every game was just a slap down.
The same comment I got, just pick Gurkha and turn off your brain, and it's somehow going to win. It proc a violent, and then it's over, right? You control him, he proc a violent, and it's done. It's over.
And if you have the rune quality as well to go Violent Revenge, like he's just insane if you have it. Because his one revenge is like more valuable than Verd's revenge.
Yeah, way more. Like one revenge where he provokes is like game over. So it's like every time he's stunned and moves, you have a chance to lose.
Or if he procs out once, the game's just over.
Yeah. Now it's not as over, because now we can at least die.
He got buff and nerf like in one patch, right? Like last time.
I think his buff was.
Was it 2 patches ago?
Half a year ago, I think.
His buff was the 2nd week of June. He had one patch in between before he got nerfed. But to be fair, on that in-between patch, they buffed a lot of things that were really good for fighting him.
Random Juno buff.
Masha, Juno buffs, the changes to oracles and stuff. All those things were good. Some were good for him, some were really good against him. I think Giou is actually pretty good against him too, because you stun on skill 1 and defense break means he's killable. Like, he's way more killable. If you put the karma on him, if he's skill 2s, that's a huge risk. And if you provoke Giou, like, you're taking a 2-turn defense break like every turn.
What do you guys think about Giou, actually? She wasn't mentioned in the balance patch, but she got so popular in the previous season. In competitive, in normal RTA, so popular. Like right after the buff, people was like, it wasn't so good. The damage buff was kind of lame, didn't do any damage at all. The attack bar gain was so rapid, and then she become kind of crazy. Like, what do you think about that?
I think she's okay. Like, she's not as, like, it's super annoying when she like strip stuns something super clutch. But other than that, she's not like super disruptive.
I think my only issue with her is her defense break is 2 turns on skill 1, and she cycles really fast, so it's quite easy to like constantly defense break units.
I think she's
like,
good.
She can set up a kill on any unit in the game, basically.
True. So pair with Masha, just defense break leading to the Masha is going absolutely
that's
crazy.
The most common thing. Someone you pick Oliver first, someone picks Giou Masha every game.
Yeah, so that's what you guys can start doing as well. If you think Giou is still a storage monster, What are you doing? Okay, is that one unit sitting right there?
Yes, I fed her, so.
Okay, you fed her for a good reason though. It was a good reason.
Wait, why?
Yeah, there was a good reason for me feeding her.
He
Like I fed her
right before SWC.
Yeah, because I had SWC coming up, and I didn't have Oliver or Dominic, and that was before Giou buff. So I just had to like feed everything to like get blessing to try and maximize my chances. I mean, obviously, if I had her now, I wouldn't feed her, but at
Bad
the time,
example
it was the
for
right
players.
choice.
Look at this guy.
Yeah,
Eating
yeah,
It was a big trade-off. He gambled for it.
Dude, you don't know. Every balance patch, I make a video in the comments, be like, I feed this unit in particular because she was bad. I saw a stream, you know, she's bad. And then I feed her.
I have never fed a unique Nat 5, and I never will. I'm too scared of that happening. Like, I'm already missing so many good. Like, I have no Dominic, no Miles, like, no Bulwark.
I mean,
I can't go with more.
You have to feed units so there's like more units that you can get. Otherwise, you'll never get something. That's the strat.
I love that. That's a great answer.
Because like now I will be happy if I get a Giou again, even though I already had her.
Also, they also buff a unit that really reminds me of Gurkha, the Dark Shadowcaster. So he has a very unique mechanic in the game that he can steal a turn from the enemy target, also kind of blocking them from violent proc as well because they just lose a turn. They don't even take a turn at all. And he take a turn, he can cast that again very quickly now with the cooldown buff from the balance patch, and he can keep stealing turn from the enemy. So you think they are trying to push that unit to the Gurkha direction as well, just like taking turn away? Because Gurkha kind of do the same thing, right? He provokes, you get a turn by provoking, and then you provoke another unit. You think Dark Shadowcaster is good enough?
It's dangerous because like one small change makes this unit insane, right? Like imagine they say that the passive goes through immunity. Suddenly this is like the best unit in the game.
True, because it's not
I would
a
think
debuff.
It's more,
right?
I mean, I think I haven't seen any since after the buff, but that's a huge buff for him, right? Because now every time he procs, he has it, and he always gets a turn after they attack him.
Yup.
And
I mean, it is basically the Gurkha method. They want it to be like crazy cyclable.
Yeah.
And he has stun and defense break. So two of the most useful debuff for PvP as well. So I think he potentially can become really crazy, but we don't know which Chinese G3 whale is gonna pick up him yet, and then just abuse the living shit out of him, and everyone's gonna pick it up after that as well. Speaking of Veronica being one of the strongest unit in the game by Obabo standard, she got nerfed though. What do you think about that?
I mean, that was like the weakest nerf out of all of the like top units. Because I mean, I guess it affects her like violent and despair builds a bit, but it doesn't really affect her swift build much at all.
True.
So while it was
Turn one
like
is the
a
same.
small, she's still like almost as good. It's like 95% of what she was before, basically.
It really just allows people to run Swift Wusa as a counter. It's like the only thing you can do.
I mean, Swift Fran works as well. I'm a Swift Fran enjoyer.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, they're same base speed, so you're just gambling at that point, right?
Yeah, but Swift Fran is special because you have the 10 lead. So if you're like drafting in a way, you can always like have the 10 lead advantage in certain drafts, and then you outspeed them.
But then what would be the better nerf if you were to do it?
I know it's hard to like nerf her in a real way. I guess the other nerf you could do is like make it only one turn reset, but that might be too big. Because right now you can't like proc out of her S3. That's why it's so strong.
Incredible unit. Make Gianna look weak. Sag.
I think it's
Gianna
like
is strong, friend.
Her S2 is a bit absurd, right? Because it's like same value as a Rika S3 basically, or close to.
Big damage, multi-hit with dunks.
With that skill 3 as well. So it's, but the thing is, you don't really want to nerf that one because then you nerf Amber, which doesn't really
make sense.
Nerf. I wish they would like nerf specific unit skills instead of just having like they have to nerf the whole family.
Yeah, I think it's kind of lame because they did.
The only way they do that is like Awakenings.
They did that with Molong, right?
They did it with Molong and buff Tianlang, and then when they nerf Wusa, they nerf Nigong without buffing Nigong. how can they do Nigong like that after like buffing Tianlang, which was the strongest unit in the game, just because Molong got nerfed?
Feels bad.
Feels bad. Spot the Nigong owner right there.
Yeah, spot the Nigong owner. Feels bad.
Speak of Reviver, right?
At least I got some value from Nigong before he got nerfed.
It's true.
He did his
true.
He did his job.
Is he not good in other areas though? He's okay in other areas of the game, right?
Because Siege unit, I think Siege offense is good.
We all talk about RTA. So, yeah, I've been to his account. I was like, oh, let's see his Siege. Oh, it's like G1 Siege. Oh, just like me.
Yeah.
Too RTA oriented.
I do just chills.
Yeah, basically. I might go back because there's Elsharian skin in Siege now, right? I haven't seen how it looks. But
Oh yeah, it looks pretty. It looks pretty good. I mean, all the Guardian Siege skin looks so good for like that 200 people that actually can get it. What do you think of the Nana nerf though? She's getting nerfed every patch, pretty much. Like every patch is like a little bit less. She's gonna revive with 1 HP in like I don't know, in 2023 at this point. Is it like a very huge nerf to Nana? I still see her every match.
Yeah,
still so good.
I mean, I guess. I mean, it's not really a big nerf, but I guess there's more situations where the unit would die now instead of live with like 1 HP after reviving. So actually it's even easier to Carlos now if you have a weak Carlos or a tanky Carlos.
What do you think about a Nana nerf, Tyler? Is it
the thing with Nana nerf is like Nana just needs to exist and it's good.
True.
Nana also scales with how good your box is, right? Like if your box is really good, Nana is really valuable. If your box really sucks, Nana's like still pretty good no matter what.
Because she's
like,
a setup
imagine you have like a ragdoll. Suddenly your Nana just gains value. Or if you have like an Onmyouji, your Nana gains value. There are so many units where Nana exponentially grows in her strength. So it's really hard to balance her passive because like the biggest value in it is the fact that you protect yourself of 1 orb on first turn. Like you go into that fight in a 5v4 and that's really valuable because you can use it aggressively and you can use it defensively. And she has high base speed. High base speed is another big advantage for Nana.
The
so
next
you can set her
patch,
up for like fast cleave stuff.
She's gonna awaken to resistance. I can feel it already. It's happening. It's happening, bro. I'm gonna slap that speed away. I was about to look at the Mage Light and talk about it, but then they revert the change because they didn't really know what to do with that unit. So that was kind of strange. So poor Mage Light user, they don't care about you at all. But
I mean, they should just remake the unit. There's no point buffing it over and over. They just rebuild it.
Thing with Light Mage is she's basically Trinity, except no speed lead. Just that she like destroys the HP instead of just dealing the damage. So
damn,
it's pretty
like
weak.
worse than Trinity. That's the standard
worse,
now.
It's worse.
Oh my god. But the next line is actually the Water Art Master. Interestingly, so they like to buff and nerf things in the same like line right there. So they nerf his attack bar gain a little bit just to buff something else in his passive. But then they didn't do that with like Dark Bison and Oliver when they buffed those units, which is kind of weird. But then with Water Art Master, they take a little bit and give him a little bit. Do you think that's gonna introduce him into the meta together with some self-cleanse unit like Juno in the same team to abuse the attack bar gain?
A little bit, yes, because I feel like usually you have Haegang on the side of the like turn 2 player. So now the passive works better for the turn 2 player. I guess there were some turn 1 players who were using Haegang, like Haegang Light Monkey was pretty common, I think, for a while.
I think they just pick Haegang to block Haegang from the enemy. Just take it away.
I think Haegang
yeah,
is good
there was
right
some
now.
people do that.
Because a lot of people will pick him with things like Shizuka or Riley or even like Molly and stuff. Like Diana Haegang is very common, right? So you put buffs up and if they strip your buffs, like you just get free attack bar. But then you get even more value now out of having something like a Molly to cleanse, or if you have Riley to cleanse, you get more attack. Like there's value.
Thing is, I was kind of hoping for a Haegang buff, but I was hoping they would actually remove this part of his passive. Because I feel like this part of his passive doesn't make much sense, like the cleanse.
I mean, Haegang Juno is good now. Like you can pick Juno with Haegang now.
I mean, you could.
And it's kind of sick.
Thing is, I was hoping they would do something, because like right now the issue with Haegang is you want him on a despair set. But you also don't want to give him your best despair will set on your whole account because that's basically what it needs to function. So I was hoping they would like make it somewhere where it's like when you strip his team, he gains like an additional 5% attack bar for every unit on your team that gets stripped.
Ah,
like
so
that
it
way
can
you
be
don't
slower.
necessarily. Yeah, he could be a little bit slower then, because like right now it's so hard to like, let's say G3 level, it's hard to justify like plus 190 despair will set on him, just as a counter pick. And you don't really want to.
And most
use
people
him when
build
he's
him
on
just
Swift.
Swift at this point.
Yeah, but Swift.
And it's only for like the counter pick.
But even then, like even if you pick Haegang as a counter as Swift, I feel like most of the time he's gonna be like below 50% win rate anyways, because he doesn't do anything.
He's just there for the ban. He's there to soak the ban.
Yeah, because I think to counter Swift team, Robo is so popular now, and he absorbs so much attack bar that make Haegang passive kind of irrelevant when trying to counter like a Swift stripper like Giou and Robo. He counters Gianna really well and other non-attack bar absorption strippers, but because Robo is so popular now, I think Haegang is kind of It's kind of hard to use as well, a little bit.
I mean, even like Water Ryu buff makes it harder for Haegang, right? Because now Water Ryu can randomly absorb like 40%.
Dude, all my Nem build like tech stuff, I just unroot all of it because it's just fucking useless against Water Ryu now. He just steals so much attack, but he steals so much more attack bar than he used to.
Like that's my like biggest gripe with this balance patch, because I think the nerfs were pretty good. Maybe the Gurkha one was a little bit too much, but the buffs were like very random, and not like random like usual when they pick random units. They just buff good units in this patch.
They just buff. I mean, I'm surprised that Ethna didn't get a buff. To be perfectly honest, like
it did.
This feels like
did get a buff. She did.
Sorry, didn't get like a skill 3 buff. This feels like one of those patches where like they take the units that are good and they just buff them again.
Dude,
but they buff the skill that like doesn't need to get buffed
again.
Yeah. Give him a monkey self attack buff on skill 3 now.
And then Artmaster Dark got buff. But it's very minor though, I think. It's longer immunity time for...
I think it's actually pretty good. 3-turn immunity is pretty value. Because he cycles his own turns really fast. Because when you skill 3, you get an extra turn. So you skill 3, give immunity, and then the 1 turn of... or the threat state, and then you get an extra turn. So his cooldown's still the same. So like his immunity uptime is really high.
I mean, I like Mookwol a lot because he's like one of the units that has like the highest turn 1 impact. You just slap him on a Despair will set, and he's automatically going to be like above 300 speed.
He awakens to speed, right?
Yeah, he does. He has 117 base, I think.
He's such a high utility unit because he buff and strip at the same time, and also apply debuff,
and glance,
which is like absolutely awesome.
The only thing with Mookwol is like you have to draft really high value units with him, because otherwise since he has no healing and he has no damage, you really need like the rest of the team to do enough.
They also buff free-to-play unit. The Dark Ifrit now gain more attack bar, remove bomb and dots before taking damage, as well as stun more consistently. You think you're going to see more Veromos and Haegang the same team soon in the future? Can be kind of nasty.
The biggest issue with Veromos is the same thing. And I see this one a lot because I am a Gurkha user, so people pick this into me all the time. The biggest issue with Veromos is that if you stun him, he's fucking useless.
Yeah, that's...
Because he doesn't get his own attack bar. He doesn't give attack bar gain if he's stunned. He still cleanses, but he doesn't get attack bar gain, so he's like completely useless.
One day,
but
next patch.
I don't know, maybe it would be too broken if he could actually do it through.
I mean, I think the one thing I'd want to see is like if he's stunned, he gains like half attack bar just for himself or something like that. Like just give him some way to cycle out, right?
And actually for Haegang, does Haegang gain 15% ATB per unit that gets cleansed?
No, I think it's just like
it's like
if a cleanse happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because yeah, that could have been pretty crazy otherwise. Like Veromos,
like insane amount of attack bar gain, right?
Yeah.
Like Veromos move just 60% attack bar gain on the entire team with Haegang.
Yeah, and then Veromos goes again, right? So you get like overfilled by 200%.
You get Josephine with that too, because when Josephine self cleanses, you get double attack bar. That'd be kind of cool, actually.
Like Josephine was also one of those buffs. Which why was Josephine buffed? I
actually don't know if I like Josephine's buff.
I mean, it's just like slightly better.
I mean, it's better. I just can't pick. I don't want to pick it into Ragdoll anymore.
But then you can pick it into everything else. So like, just ignore, Guardian player.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I guess it crits, but like.
Were you running like HP, Josephine?
Yeah, I had a plus 32k HP Josephine with no crit rate at all.
Because like even before, I kind of liked her on crit rate, so she dealt a little bit more damage.
Yeah, I just like high attack. I go like plus 800, plus 900, and then look for a defense break. Like she does a lot more damage now. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm running mine on 130 crit damage with no crit rate. It's like it's good.
Yeah,
but it's just kind of weird to me. Yeah, it's a weird change.
Speaking of weird change, how about your Light Ryu change?
Light Ryu change is good. I will say that it's good. I don't like it though because it's there's nothing unique about the unit to me. Like it's weird because the skill 2 does not really make sense with the rest of the kit, in my opinion. So the way Light Ryu works is if you're going to be a first turn skill 3er, you have to kill a unit immediately. And if you don't kill a unit, you're not doing anything at all. If you are a Light Ryu second skill user first turn, then the buff to skill 3 is like kind of irrelevant because the only thing you cared about was the buff to skill 2. So like if you are a like Nephthys user, that skill 2 change is pretty big for you because you strip, you Nephthys, you gain a shit ton of attack bar, and then you just pop skill 3 anyways because they're basically dead. Like it doesn't matter that you gain damage and that you gain the crit rate buff. If you're a skill 3 user, and sorry, I'm speaking specifically in RTA. If you're a skill 3 user, like, yes, you gain damage, you drop 30 crit, you gain realistically like 45 attack or like 20 to 25 speed or something, right? Like, you can gain those stats as a difference. It still doesn't really do enough in RTA without like very specifically the right comps, because you have to have a defense break and you have to get a kill with that. When it comes to arena and RTA and siege, he's actually really good, like really, really good. The 30% crit buff and also the 9% damage increase to skill 3 is huge, huge in those pieces of content, because you're able to set up exactly the way you want to.
So basically what Once Love is saying when he says that the second skill doesn't make any sense is that he wants like the dogless second skill, the single hit branding. So like maybe next patch we'll see that being a thing. For Talisman.
Swap the skill with dogless.
I don't know if that's necessarily true. I guess I wanted his skill 3 to be something more like, I know it's unique because it ignores damage reduction effects, so it ignores invincibility, defense buff, and shields. But I wanted it to be something that fit more with like the rest of his kit with the skill 2 existing. But I'm just not like, I'm not sure what I want. Like I've said, I agree. It's good. It's a good change. It's just, to me, it just feels really boring.
Yeah, I think the problem with the unit is that every other PvP content is like absolutely amazing. It's like so easy to build, amazing, noob friendly, because you need so much less crit rate. But when you step into RTA, then he's like, all right. Because I saw Babo has the light art master, and people ask me like, why does he not build that shit? I'm like, it's not good for RTA. Of course, he's not going to build that, even though it is like a free win ticket in like inter-server arena. He's just like, zoop, kill everything, move on, kill everything, move on. It's so good, but it's so boring, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And I will say, like, I would much rather have a Talisman Forte than...
I'll be honest, actually, I figured out what it is that I want. If his skill 3, they reduce the damage, but they said it guarantees crit, I would be into the unit. And the reason for that is because it allows me to build accuracy, and it allows me to build for the skill 2. My biggest issue is between building skill 2 and skill 3, you either need all damage or you need accuracy. And then like somewhere in between, you either need to survive or you need to be really fast. There's like, it's like building Sonya. Like building Sonya, you need so much attack and crit rate. And if you don't have enough attack, you don't one shot. And if you're too slow, you never take a turn, you die. It's one of these units that like, it could be insane if you have the ability to use it, but it's so hard to build it properly.
Just take the resistant leader skill off. Give him something else, you know?
I don't want to talk about that.
Resistant leader for a fucking damage dealer. Like, oh my god.
We talked about this in Korea, but I want Talisman to have 33% speed lead.
Oh, is there any light 33?
No, that's why I want it.
Oh, I mean, he kind of fit the 33 theme with like attack bar absorption and stuff.
Listen. Just give it to Dorothy, so there's like a light Trinity and a dark Trinity.
Oh, Jesus.
God, Dorothy. Dude, if you gave Dorothy a 33% speed lead in arena, people would still not use it.
I mean, it would be like the exact...
It doesn't do anything it doesn't do anything besides a speed lead.
Sad.
I mean, it would still need like decent damage, right? It's the exact same unit as Trinity.
True.
But Trinity's probably going to get like a guild content lead. What does it have? I don't even know.
What? Are they going to give Trinity... a guild content?
Oh no! Dorothy, I'm sorry.
Trinity has
Dorothy. Yeah,
that's like her advantage between those two.
SeanB is here advocating for Trinity nerfs now. Like removing half her kit with the speed.
True. Let's just nerf Leona over here.
But how would you want Trinity to be buffed? You know, on a side note.
I don't really want her to get that big of a buff. It's just like when Oliver was strong, I think it was stupid that Trinity was so weak. I think she should just like either get some base stat changes or make it so like her second skill activates. Okay, so the buff I like first, like if her second skill would activate on the unit you target with skill 3. So let's say you skill 3 and then you activate your second skill on that unit, because that way you could actually, because like there was a patch like maybe a year ago where they made it so her second skill resets her skill 3, the CD. So that way you could actually like make some weird cleave where you were able to snipe a unit with the extra S2 and you reset your skill 3. You could do
honestly just make Trinity HP scaling. Like,
huh?
Yeah, just make her like a fast Sarath. Might as well. Yeah, make her on weird builds. So you can build her on speed crit damage HP or speed crit rate HP.
Anyway, back to thing that actually exists in the game and not some dream buff by Obabo. We have... Wait, what was that again? Oh, we're past the Ryu now. We kind of talk about the Monkey King as well. But we saw some Fire Paladin action with the AoE immunity for 1 turn. I think it's okay, but it's not that good. Oh my god, Once in Love is like dying.
I think it's huge.
Is it that huge? 1 turn though?
Because thing is, yeah, but the thing is, it's not really about the 1 turn. Like the big thing with Ophilia was that always when you use skill 3, you wanted to proc so you could S1 and give yourself immunity. Now you're always gonna have immunity on yourself when you skill 3, so it's not that much that you're protecting the others. It's now you like have permanent upkeep of immunity on
yourself.
You're like Masha. You're basically Masha. Is how it works.
Yeah,
you're tanky
like now
Masha.
You're always gonna have it.
You're Masha unless you skill 2.
Yeah.
But do you draft her with a turn 1 or a turn 2 team? Or is it like when you need her? What does she actually do?
She can kind of fit both, I feel.
I think you always bring her fast if you want to play her. You build the comp around it though.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember meeting Korida-san? She actually has a plus 182 Ophilia. She's the one who drafts all of her Molly Miles most games.
Okay. Yeah, like when I'm thinking of Ophilia, I'm just thinking of like 30 and Legacy back then.
Oh, those were the days, man. I miss that guy. The guy was the dog user.
Very weird. His Ophilia was like super fast on Violent, like 290 or something. It was like so fast.
Yeah, something like that.
It's like the only provoke you can actually use against Masha, because Masha has to hit her now. But you can't provoke Masha properly with auto provoke unit. Even Gurkha can't provoke Masha properly. So this unit can be actually insane, because when you're fighting Dominic, Masha, Molong, Shizuka. Wait, speaking of Shizuka, combining that with Ophilia is also a pretty interesting thing going on right there, because you can have threat state on everybody. But the moment you finish threat state on one target, you can't hit that target anymore because threat state is now on everybody else.
But that's why I'm saying like Mookwol with a despair set with Shizuka is even crazier, because then you get stuns from Mookwol and you get threat state and you have double immunity. So like that's an even crazier combo. But I guess it's similar with Ophilia. At least with Ophilia you can get invincibility as well with Shizuka.
Mookwol give you that glancing. That's like also kind of value.
Yeah.
Speaking of Shizuka and Masha, that the 2 meta unit that were used very often but wasn't touched in the balance patch. What do you guys think about that then? Is it just sell transmog pack?
I think Shizuka should get a nerf for sure. Masha I think is not that big of a offender. Like people,
if you want to nerf Masha, you can do something really small. Like you can change speed gain from 15% to like 10%, and that would be fine.
Yeah, that's
still 50% speed is still good.
Because the thing is, like, people are still annoyed by Masha and Dominic, and like those units still proc on me and kill me as well. But it's not like
Masha procs every turn. I swear to God, that unit procs every single turn.
Like I don't feel the same way as when fighting like a Shizuka or pre-nerf Oliver. Like those units.
Dude, Shizuka procs every turn too.
Yeah, those are another level.
The only thing I want with Shizuka is I want the Ganny nerf. No skill 2 on yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the.
It's like it's balanced. It's instantly balanced if you can't skill 2 yourself. You can even change your cooldown on skill 3 back to 5 turns, and then as long as she can't skill 2 herself, it's totally fine. You can unnerf the skill 3 if you nerf the skill 2.
Yeah, I mean it's a weird thing because I feel like Shizuka should already be picked with like high value units, but there's so many people who like play Shizuka Ragdoll Molly. And that would be like hard nerfed by that change, which is nice.
Shizuka Ganny would be good.
But maybe we're going to see that
you skill 2 the Ganny and then the Ganny skill 3 cooldown goes down. Like that's good value.
Yeah, we're probably going to see it next balance patch. I would assume so.
Well, unless they release new units first. Because if they release new units that have any impact on those units.
Do you know anything about new unit though?
They release new units so often now, dude. We get them like every 4 months.
Yeah,
every 3 months.
I want new 2As.
I also want new 2As really badly.
We get once a year. Calm down, daddy. We get once a year, okay? We got one 8 months ago.
I need this twice or 3 times a year.
We're down to once a year, okay? If lucky, we get 1 family, okay? Not 2. So we get the Ethna nerf that you mentioned earlier. We get more attack bar now. But we know it's obviously good, right? More attack bar, she gain a turn back very quickly. But people mentioned that the Dark Hell Lady, got kind of pseudo nerf because if she steal immunity one turn and then she get out of it immediately, what's the fucking point of stealing buff anymore? What do you think about that?
Yeah, that is true.
I think it's a negligible value because people run Craka on Despair most of the time.
I mean, even before then, she was gonna be like almost like thing is Craka you want to be like as a turn 1 stripper, which she like strips 2 or 3 units.
Mm-hmm.
And like she would still be 90% attack power after that, like pre-buff. Like now, if she goes again after using skill 2, like the whole enemy team is going after Craka, so it's not like you're gaining
a whole lot of value
from that.
If they really want to buff Craka, what they do is every buff you steal adds 1 to the buff that you had already. So like if you stole 4 immunities, you get 4 turns of immunity. Ooh. That's like the only way to buff her to a point where those people would be happy with her. and the funny part is even that would do nothing.
No, trust me,
she'll just get stripped and killed instantly.
No, like there's no way they can buff Craka to where Craka owners would be happy because every active reviver in the game feels so shit to use. Like that's the issue.
Except for Shizuka.
Yeah, but her like.
But she's not even a real revive.
The thing is, like,
it's not even a revive.
The reason, so the reason that Shizuka's revive feels nice is because you can first use it on live units, and also when you actually use it on a dead unit, the dead unit takes a turn instantly. Like every other reviver
it gets a cooldown reduction too, which is even more gross.
What if all active reviver can revive and a unit gets a turn instantly, but no cooldown reduction though? It's just they get a turn.
Yeah,
like
sure.
Shizuka.
Let's do that. Then I can use Haegang again and just.
So all the reviver get a nice low buff.
I don't want this. No. Stop. I don't want this.
Yeah, that's a stupid idea. But
imagine Giou just
Vanessa. What happens when Vanessa revives with attack buff and you instantly get a turn?
Oh, that's epic. That is super epic. Oh my god. Leo, Vanessa be the best combo.
The problem with this is that the value of resets go up if something like this were to exist. Like resets just become like stonks again.
But reset is already stonk.
Like, reset units are
reset is still literally the best thing to do in the game. Just reset them. Glancing don't even stop.
Remember how many years we called her Suckmet? That unit's a god. Even if she misses, she's like.
I mean,
you're still happy you picked her, even if she missed, because you're like, it was a very good chance to win.
Like seeing the light, what's it called? The light cookie. That gives me some hope for like future revivers because they actually make sure you can't reset.
Oh, the pure vanilla.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you meant the espresso. I was like, I really like the light espresso because it also has skill cooldown reset in the opposite way. It's not revive.
Wait, she has a non-resettable revive skill.
Yeah, exactly. Because I feel like there should be a patch where they like address almost every active reviver. Because
probably soon, to be honest. I think it's coming.
Yeah.
But if you give that to all the reviver, then the line one become shit because it's the same.
Yeah. I mean, they shouldn't like give that to everyone, but that's like a sign that maybe they're thinking about the revivers a bit.
You want to talk about the Archangel buff because it's kind of obvious. People were kind of mad they took away the continuous damage, which is kind of funny. That they buff a very underused unit and they still managed to not buff it properly. And still, hey, let's take away something because the fucking Dark Archangel is so strong. You know,
I think if they wanted to do a trade, they should have just made it 2 turns to 1 turn for the continuous damage. Like that would have been fair.
No, they should have just kept it.
Yeah, I don't understand this fucking logic that you can overbuff the unit to the moon.
You're right. There's no reason to remove it. Like it should just be there.
Like, oh my god, it's Archangel so strong. Let's don't overbuff it. Bruh.
Like I am still mad that they nerfed Cichlid. Like why? Like the thing is they buffed Cichlid, but the only buff ever was in like siege defense, and they nerfed her for everything else when she was actually like a decent like segment replacement for people who didn't have it.
Yep.
And now
viable unit.
Like, who
now
the
she's
fuck?
super bad.
The people who make these, it's like they don't think like, huh? It's just strange.
Yeah,
there's always too much give and take. There's never just give.
There is give.
I mean, there is give. There is give. Like randomly, Ethna and like Water Ryu gets a buff. Like how?
Yeah, that's not a give. That's taking away from our mental stability.
It's just so weird, bro.
Yeah. That's true.
2 turns sleep for Hathor and Light Hathor though.
Actually, a very good change. Very, very good change.
Because the thing about 2 turns sleep is that you don't violent proc out of that. It is impossible. So that is pretty cool for you to sleep a Wusa and then you know it's gonna stay down.
Sleep is just
right?
good now too, because like a year ago they gave sleep the effect where if you're someone sleeping, you don't glance on them. So like just sleep debuff in general is so value right now.
So you can't Genny Hathor or Juno properly, but you can Genny Hathor a Douglas because you can sleep it. Genny skill 3 do a lot of damage and sleep it again.
There's actually a player out there right now that's running Genny Hathor Doman in G3 like every game.
Wusa Genny Hathor Doman.
Yeah, because it's just good. It's disgusting.
Doman's so nasty.
I don't think it's that good, but it's good against like bruiser players.
It's good against like everyone on G2 and under because like you just don't expect it and you're like fuck.
Yeah. Like anyone who goes like CC cleave, like you can easily just outspeed that guy and slap him around.
Yeah. But there's so many ragdoll player right in high rank, and he just abuse them and lose to the fast player, and it's okay.
I guess so. And that works.
Good trade off.
But the thing that if you play a style so specifically, they just know who you are. Right? You see the name, you're like, that's the Genny Hathor guy. Just like
because the thing is, there's like one guy, like there's one guy who plays like a plus 220 Swift Ganny with like Leo and Tiana every game with Maximilian. Yeah, and that guy like changes his name and profile picture like every week, I feel.
And that guy loses to Quad Will every single game.
No, he doesn't, because thing is, he runs Tiana and like
Tiana's not fast enough though. His Ganny will outspeed, but like everything else is nothing.
Thing is, if his Tiana is not fast enough, you have to run a unit that's faster than his Tiana that's on will, and most people have their like segments and stuff off will, and then there's a either the Ganny or the Leo. So like that's how its comp works a bit, but it does get countered by some things, of course.
I usually leave his Leo in. I ban his Ganny and then play all that dumb stuff.
But because Ganny is so unpopular, the moment you see Ganny, you know, oh, it's that guy.
Yeah.
Basically.
Oh yeah, I mean, like when I pick Ganny, people just ban Ganny because they're like this has to be on Swift. There's no way.
Yeah, like you look kind of saucy right now, buddy. Like there's no that thing.
Or they're like, oh, this is easy and free, and then they lose because it's on Swift.
Yeah.
There's like two different types of people. There's the people who expect Ganny to be on Swift, and there's the people who haven't seen Ganny in so long they forget what he does.
Genny Hathor being back into the meta. But what about the light Hathor though? Do you guys think she's good now? Because the moment she's
already good. She's been good. She's like one of the best pick 5 Force fans in the game, I think.
Dude,
especially with how many passives are out there
in my inbox with like, hey, use my ISIS and show me how to do it. It's like too long, bro. Can you educate those people for me, please?
You want the secret tip to ISIS? ISIS is a free arena G3 because she guarantees you're going to kill just about anything in the game. If you use her with like Belial and Shina and Tiana, you just kill anything in the game. Like it's no competition. Because co-op damage scales with the crit on and the co-op bonus on Belial skill 3. So you'll hit like 65k on like anything.
But in RTA though?
In RTA, you just pick it last. And then they're like, oh fuck, I have all these passives and no immunity, no cleanse. What am I going to do? They just ban it. There's nothing they can do.
So it's just a false ban unit, pretty much, like AoE Oblivion, too strong. But you don't see ISIS. If it's that strong, it should be picked at some point, but then you just don't see it.
You see it sometimes, but it's not common.
Why do you think so, if it's so good?
And like even so, it's always going to be banned, basically. Like I'm pretty sure she's like 90%.
Because like never gets through.
Because you only want to pick her in the games where they can't let her through, basically.
But if they let her through, like, she's that good then.
Maybe they could buffer in a way where she's... Because like right now...
If her skill 3 reduced attack bar by like 20% per unit, it would be nuts. I think it'd be more than enough CC for her. Because she'd have 2-turn silence, 2-turn oblivion. Any of those can miss. And then she'd have 20% pushback or absorb on each of them. And then a skill 2 that doesn't glance that can 2-turn sleep. She'd be an insane unit if she had absorb on skill 3. Even 15% absorb or 10% absorb might be enough. Because all you need to do is like fuck someone's turn order and you're like in a great place.
I mean, the thing is, I think ISIS is enough CC in comps where you have like high value AoE strips. So if you have like a Gianna or a Veronica or something like that, Eludia, then you can like slot in an ISIS. Basically.
The rest of you guys without those units, fuck you, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing,
right? Can you at least like use an example, like, you know, a Chung Pang?
I mean, you can water you
Wind Robo,
you know? Robo. You could literally just water you Wind Robo plus like ice.
Let me say this. like not even Wind Robo, but Dark Robo fits really well with Isis. Because then you're just gonna die to the dots without their passives.
All the fellows without Dark Robo, raise your hand. Me, yes.
I mean,
yes.
I don't have it.
Okay, like let's say the guy first picks Oliver. You could take like Water Ryu Tomoe. If he takes Masha, or he commits to any form of turn 2, then you just go Wind Robo, like any CC, and then last pick Isis. And if the guy bans the Wind Robo, he has to outspeed you, or he has to survive your Water Ryu into Isis into whatever CC unit you have, and it's never gonna happen. Because if your Isis skill 3's that Masha is probably fucked. And like, even if he procs out the first turn, it's like, okay, whatever. He procced out, he doesn't get immunity still. You just 2 turns sleep him the next turn. You move on. Right? Or like Miles, if you Oblivion the Miles doesn't do shit for damage. Or if you like, you know, if they decide to go like Nana or a Belial or anything like that, like they have to ban the Isis every single time.
Give this man an Isis salesman. And he can do.
You know what? There's so many fun units in the game that I want to try, and I just can't. I need to pull them, and it's never gonna happen.
Dude, the moment you say that, 20 emails will be like, "Hi, once in love, I have Isis."
Yeah, but the problem is everyone who emails me,
F3.
Hey, can you play this on my account? Their fastest Swift set is like 175 speed. It's like, I'm never gonna be able to test Isis with your 175.
Play with my account, please. Once in love, my Isis is pretty good. There's so many.
Someone's gonna send me like a 280 violent Isis, but then like the rest of their units are like 240.
I think the problem with her is that you have to last pick her, but she's not good enough to be 3rd pick in the middle of the draft. So if you last pick her, then she's banned, then she's boring because you don't ever get to play with her. But you still have to ruin her in case they let her through. But then if you pick her in slot 3,
you probably have really good LDs.
Okay, listen. LDs. You can play with Isis if you have Tianlang, because then you like last pick when you first pick, you last pick Tianlang Isis, and then you're gonna get like either Tianlang or Isis half the time against those like Juno comps, Ragdoll.
So now you just need to have Nat 5 LD Tianlang.
Just Veronica, Gianna, Tianlang.
So what I'm getting out of this, Ababo, is to use my LD Nat 5. I need to have another LD Nat 5.
I mean, that's the thing with a lot of LD5s. There's a lot of LD5s like that.
It's like everyone who says, "Oh, you just need a Nyx to use your Gurkha, or you just need a Nephthys to use your Talisman."
yeah, that's how it is. Like Pontus is another like LD5 that scales really well with other LD5s.
What scale with Leona?
Ragdoll.
True.
I don't know.
True. Ragdoll scale with anything.
What scales with Leona?
Leona's
probably
like
Ragdoll or Artemil, to be honest. It's probably Ragdoll or Artemil.
Also Han, I think. I think Han Leona is slept on. Like you run a Swift Leona.
Yeah, I tried Swift Leona. It's so fun. It's actually contributing every turn to something.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, she's moving. No, it's kind of fun. Because she's not that slow.
I think Swift Leona is the best build by far.
She's like 102 base. So turn 1, she just like strip provoke something. And then you kind of stun that unit again as well. Yeah. And she move all the time.
And also, yeah, exactly. Like you cycle out of defense breaks faster, and you also like stun with skill 1 all the time on Swift Leona.
To give her immunity.
Are you telling me that I need to run a Swift Josephine?
Yes, maybe.
I mean,
because I'll do it.
Why not?
Because you still want to like proc into your.
It makes a great YouTube thumbnail, bro. 320 speed Josephine, just crush the enemy. But speaking of something that Josephine countered really well, that is the Fire Sea Emperor that got buff as well to steal. I mean, not steal. He removed 2 buff now, which is great against Usa and Riley. But does that really mean anything?
I mean, SeanB just leaked the next Okeanos buff where it steals the
next
buffs.
Okeanos buff. He steals your buffs.
Shit. God damn
He's now Sun Zong Long, but slow.
Yeah, exactly.
He's old, so
he's actually literally that exact thing. He has strip steal skill 2, AoE stun skill 3.
Except that he resets skill 2, which is pretty nice.
And he's fucking
I mean, defense break is nice too, but
her base speed, bro, garbage.
I mean, 118 base speed is pretty good on a Dark Monkey.
Son Sang Lao is really good. I think he's actually my like best LD or second best.
Oh really? Over Bella?
Declarative statement.
Yes. Yeah.
Over Han?
No, like Han is the best one. Like him and Han are like similar.
Him and Han are like best bros, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have some good stuff. Han, Bella, and Dark Monkey King now. That's kind of scary. And Oliver.
He has all the single target strippers, LD5. Not the high value one that he likes to use with his, I don't know, Isis though, but it's good enough, I guess.
No, it's true.
But Oki is fine, right? Like, Oki is just fine. I think they should rebuff the Oki nerf. What do you guys think?
Yeah, they should. They should
Yeah.
at this point.
For those who don't know, they nerfed Oki before. He used to hit 4 to 6 times, but now he hit 3 to 5 times. It's like kind of lame. He just hit 6 times, right? Like, what the heck is that random shit? So I think they should rebuff Oki because I think Oki is just okay. Because without slow debuff like Carnal, his control is not as good, I would say. Like Carnal. But Carnal doesn't strip and reset.
Also, Okeanos needs a better awakening. Let's be honest. Crit rate awakening is not it.
The moment he get accuracy or speed awakening, he's like god tier. Boom.
Accuracy awakening is fair.
Speed awakening,
is
segment,
god tier.
goodbye.
Speed awakening is god tier. Accuracy awakening is fair. Is very fair.
Like segment just go back to Sarge if he gets speed awakening.
Yeah,
So
Hack Awakening would make sense for him.
Or like awaken him into skill 1, where his skill 1 like steals attack bar.
No, awaken is skill 2, so his skill 2 will steal buff.
So make him like stuff to win Robo with the
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, like
Or like skill 1 can't glance. Oh my god, skill 1 can't glance. You transfer and you can never glance. That would be so good.
I don't know, like comparing old Oki before the nerf to Wind Robo. I feel like Wind Robo is just still
broken.
Insane compared to that old Oki.
Speaking of Wind Robo, you guys think Wind Robo is too good for a 4-star unit?
Yes and no. Like, I don't think them being 4-star should affect their balance that much. It's the same thing, like LDs shouldn't be better than elementals just because they're LDs. I feel that shouldn't be the case.
According
but I think,
to my business degree, LD should be better to sell more, you know? Just how it is, Sag. Wind Robo is really good, which is great. Like, everyone has a Wind Robo. Everyone should be a Wind Robo because it's just really good. Robo. It's like pre-nerf Kaki kind of deal, you know? Like, you need to have it. It's 4-star unit. Use it. It's so fucking good.
So insanely good. It's good enough that I took the runes from my Sekhmet to make my Wind Robo better.
I mean, Wind Robo is like the Janna for the Janna.
Free-to-play Janna, yeah.
Better. Because, like, if they don't have will runes, dude, Stong, even better. I absorb more attack bar. Yeah. It's so good.
He's a bit of a gamble though, which is like the annoying part of him. I feel like the free-to-play units get to be the units that have our gambles. Like his skill 2 is good, but oh my god, sometimes it is frustrating.
I feel like it's
you're like, oh sick, I stripped nobody. Now what?
Oops.
Like, how do I play the game now?
You just have your Dark Robo follow up.
Yeah, I fucking wish, dude. I wish. I summoned somebody a Dark Robo today. I was like, oh my god, I want this so bad.
I'm just sitting here crying with my 2 light ones.
Me too. I have 2 light ones as well. Yeah. I know the feel.
You just go and die, like literally. The unit just go and die. Sag. I hate it. Like it just die and then it doesn't do a whole lot after it dies. Like at least do more damage or something, you know? But speaking of I'm not sure how much the shield of the water demon is gonna mean anything. Like increase the shield amount by 70%.
Anyways.
True. I think it should be 2 turns, right? The shield is 1 turn only, which is kind of lame.
2 turns, yeah. Should be 2 turns.
Isn't the shield just there to protect him if a unit is overfilled and tries to kill him, basically?
Yeah, yes. But in the past it's like what, 5,000 damage, right? Somewhere around there, 4,000. So now it's almost double.
It feels really easy to get around.
It's like 8,000 kind of thing. So he won't die so easily, but what do you guys think about shortening the duration for like the wait time of the water demon? It's not 12 turns. What if it's like 8? Is it too strong?
I think that might be a little bit much.
I feel like it's hard to say. Like that's one of those changes that you don't really know how strong it's going to be until it's in.
Until the G3 player actually play the game and tell them, right? It's like, oh my god, guys, water demon's so strong now. What the heck? Like they can't test it themselves.
But I think that would be fine. Like, there's so many resets anyways. It's hard to get that much value from him.
No, you can't reset his passive, though.
Reset doesn't affect his passive. It only affects
reset doesn't affect his passive, but he's supposed to like come back with the skill 2. Kind of like the Dark Demon. So that's why resets counter him a lot as well, because he just come back into a S1. Like, especially Oliver is just always gonna keep him on lock.
Or maybe when he revive, he gives something to the team as well. So it's a team thing when he revive, like a little bit of buff, attack by boost, a 1 turn something buff, you know, that'd be fun.
Yeah, that could be cool. That could be cool.
So like, even if he doesn't get to attack, he get to give to the teammates something when he actually come back to life.
I really like the fact that they made him not glance a while ago. But the more I thought about it, I was like, this is a really cool buff, but it's still not that useful most of the time. Because like the biggest issue with these units is they're like really big one-offs. Like you're gambling to get a super strong one-off. And if you don't get it, like it's just like, what's the point? It's like the same thing as using Sonya, except this is like a turn 2 version of it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like Sonya's that first turn gamble where it's like if you hit and you kill, you hit huge. But if you don't, you're fucked. Whereas like with the water demon, it's like you're hoping that they can't reset you and then they accidentally kill him from AoEing and then you come back and you just obliterate a unit. You just do it like twice. But the problem is like after the second time, like you actually don't have your cooldowns at all.
All right, so that's the demon. Now we're moving to the 4-star territory, starting off with Hypnomeows getting some extra speed when they're sleeping, which is like all the time. So they're now 30% faster when they're sleeping. You think it's good enough to bring them back?
Maybe the fire one. Like fire one is the most interesting one, I think.
So personally, I like using them with Josephine together because like it just gives Josephine turn to hit people. So it's like super fun. And now with Josephine being able to do so much more damage than she should, the combo might have some use because it's fun and interesting.
Yeah, I mean like the fire Hypnomeows with some procs can like easily solo CC a team now because you have you basically have like permanent speed buff on yourself. So if you have like some sort of speed buff as well on the cat, then you're gonna lap the enemy like crazy. Like you're gonna be like 500 speed while everyone else is 280.
Or maybe it's also a way to push the counter for the Light Monkey King. And because they kind of buff Hathor, so they're like, who's good against sleep unit? Oh, let's put a cat back into the meta for a little bit. So if you want to invest all your cat into one cat to build, you could go with the fire one because of the AoE sleep.
Or the light one. If you're afraid of Ganyethor, you can do the light one as well.
No, light one is... I don't like the light one. I have
the light one heal, right?
Like, you just wake it up, right? And then nothing happens. Like Gany, it doesn't counter Ganyethor. Like you would have to be...
Counters just the Thor, baby. Yeah.
You would have to be like triple revenge to like fall back asleep again after they wake you up. But even then you're like banking on a 45% and them not like waking up again. And then you need the 45% again. So it's like...
Pain. I'm just hearing a lot of pain right now.
Yeah.
But I think it's a decent step to using these units because they're interesting, right? They're unique. Yeah. They have an interesting mechanic and they definitely can be used because sleep is a very strong control skill that sometimes you see Obabo whip out that Izaria video and then everyone start building Izaria and then you need something to counter these sleeping motherfuckers, right? So of course gonna bring in Hypnomeows into the meta. And then we are seeing Assassin getting buffed. One of the OG family in the game. Probably for Siege, I suppose. They're pretty good for Siege. Probably not for RTA. So what do you think about the use of Siege Assassin, Tyler?
Good against MST. It's good against Martina, Shina, Triana. That's about it. Don't really see it being used against anything else, to be honest.
True. I think one of the problem I have with these units is that they don't do a lot of damage when you build them with speed damage attack because you kind of have to use them with some speed or else it's too slow. And then they don't hit enough to kill like a Triana on a tank build or a Lil May on a tank build, and that can be troublesome because most of the value gain is from them killing something. So if you don't kill, then it's kind of sad. But Lexi though, that
I was actually looking at Lexi right now.
The Lexi change is cool, but the biggest problem with Lexi is still like she can't ever be built on Vampire.
Why?
And because she heals for half as well.
But yeah, I think that part is just lame, right?
It's not that much. Even if you hit for like 40k, it's still not much. She does a lot of damage, don't get me wrong. She actually does a lot of damage. Her skill 2 is really good too.
I think they should just take away the healing nerf on your own team, or maybe make it like less.
Yeah, they should. Like if they remove the like Jackson, if they remove like Jackson from the enemy, they should definitely remove that from our own team.
It's a fucking 4-star unit. Like, come on, man. It can be really good. But also, I think she has like a speed awakening, which is like kind of strange. I'd rather her to have like a crit rate awakening. But I think speed is always better. I don't know. I'm being weird.
I mean,
also, she used to have data and passive as well. Kinda. Just bring that back. maybe.
Yeah, I was actually looking for that because if she had the Darien passive still, it would be quite nice actually.
So because it makes sense in the past where she allowed the team to take less damage, so healing less on your team is okay. But now she doesn't do that anymore. So I think she has used because Riley is so popular and Riley heals every turn all the time. So her being able to ignore defense for a simple 30, 40k with the skill 2 would be absolutely insane value. But like almost there, I would say. Assassin Fire, maybe a couple patches more, maybe. Yeah, it'd be absolutely insane. Then we have the budget Hathor, the Water Harp Magician. You guys remember this unit?
Yeah, Foie. I was using that.
Will you use this?
Today. Name I haven't heard in a long time before today.
Summoners or Chronicles, man. The magical game. It brings everybody back.
Would I use this? No. No.
I just realized her skill 3 actually deal damage, and I was kind of disappointed because it deal damage, which means it can glance and it won't sleep the enemy. So that's kind of sad. But her shield is fat as fuck though.
Yeah, it is.
It's like fat, like really fat. Look at that.
Yeah, 30% of your max HP is pretty good.
Isn't that like a 10 to 15k shield, like easily?
Yeah.
Kind of nasty though, right? I mean, if you need an AoE like, water debuff unit,
I don't know.
She's an option.
Would you just use Diana most of the time? Or like, I don't know.
I wish she just doesn't do it.
I feel like Molly has more utility that you would want anyways.
But she's like a half CC, half healer, right? It got buff. That's 10% extra sleep chance. That's like 85 in total, I think. That's not bad.
I remember when it was bugged and it used to be 100.
Yeah, that was so strange. Just
the problem is the activation rate's really bad, right?
Just make it
like
100,
50 to
right?
60 is not that good.
How much is it now?
I think 85 total.
85? 85, I guess. And
85 is okay.
You have 85 and then another 15% chance to get fucked.
So
do you think okay. Should units have 85 or should they have 100?
Honestly, if they're at 85, they should just go to 100. And then they should balance the skill after. Because the most frustrating thing in the game is when the skill is inconsistent and not when the skill is weak. Like, it's more frustrating when something is good, but like doesn't hit very often. Because then you're like, what's even the point of taking this gamble every single time I play?
That's like the Dark Monkey skill 3. Right?
Maybe. It could be.
That is exactly what that is.
We can ignore the Fire Grim Reaper. It's just like they trying to make the skill consistent with other debuff that apply via passive. So it's a weird. It's just a change to make that consistent.
Now we always dots the giant, right? For people run.
Make it more consistent a little bit. But I think sooner or later people will also move towards the faster team, like the Crow team. That's like faster if you care about your Giants TAM, like because the Dots team can go from like 20 seconds to a minute run because it's lame like that. AI can't be changed in this game, which is like a whole other topic on its own because I play other game, Raid Shadow Legends.
We could have an entire podcast based on that.
The sponsor of today's podcast. Anyway, they can actually program the AI in their dungeon run to do exactly what they want, which is like mind-blowing. Like, what the fuck? We here wishing Lucian would do the skill 3. In other game, they can just like choose Lucian will always do skill 3 or Lucian will never use skill 3. They can choose. We can't even do anything.
Yeah, then we can finally be like Serath owners, all of us.
In artery gear, you could actually set conditions. So only use skill blank if blank.
Like,
so like you'll only use this skill if you have speed buff, or you'll only use this skill if the enemy's below X HP.
That's just me working on an Excel sheet, bro. It's like, if, then, you know, simple as that.
Yeah.
Like, bruh, this game is weird, okay? I
think Summoner's War is actually kind of getting too old school. I think they need to make a little new school changes.
Chronicles going in a good direction, though. Many good quality of life over there. Anyway, Phantom Thief, one of my favorite units in the game, will now do more damage more consistently, and that is pretty much about it. I think. Do you guys ever use these units ever? Look at Obabo. It's like, is that an
I don't even have a dark Phantom Thief.
I mean, Dark One, I'm not sure if I have it, but that's the one that I'm mainly interested in. I'm getting so.
If I had it, I'd use it
right now. I'm getting solo by like in like G1 Interserver. That's what's
They're all
happening
fun,
right now.
okay? You give them a try, okay, guys? They're free to play unit. I know you don't really.
I just don't have a Dark One. If I had a Dark One, I would use it all the time.
Wait, you didn't play when it was HOH?
No.
Ah, not too old school. I see you right there.
I might have just picked something else. I don't remember.
We have the new 4-star support meta here with the Harp. 120 speed base. One of them buff immunity, which is kind of crazy. The wind one.
Wind Wusa.
Yeah, that one is cool. I like both the Hargs right now, actually. I'm going to play around with the Dark One a bit.
Where will you use the Dark One? Who will you use the Dark One with? Mouse?
With Han and Dark Monkey.
Yes. Yes. Yes, very fun. Fruitful discussion. Yes, Han, Dark Monkey. Amazing.
Stop making me laugh. You're going to kill me over here.
I'm just giving you ideas for next time you're on my account, Sean.
True. But I think
next time you're on my account, can you win?
I'll try, okay? I'll try. But the thing about speed buff is that it can be good with mouse as well, right? Pretty awesome.
Yeah, I can.
Right there. But what other speed scaling thing will be amazing?
I mean, the thing, like the nice part about Croa is that you can speed buff and you can like CC a non-will swift unit. So let's say you're fighting like a Sekhmet. You have like 6 base speed on her, so you can just speed buff your whole team and then push back the Sekhmet. So you can use it with other stuff as well. You don't need to have a Han Dark with it.
You can use it with an Oliver, right? You know, a free-to-play option like Oliver would be amazing. So if you build it on Swift, it will probably outspeed most Swift things out there, like Triton, Sekhmet.
It's like old. It reminds me of old Jogun almost.
Is
like
it?
getting that first turn buff?
Yeah.
It was stripped though. Single target
no,
skill.
Stripped though, but it's still not bad.
But the wind one is like a free-to-play USA, right? Or is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a little bit.
With less immunity, but no healing, but has some sort of a decent control skill in the skill too. So if you don't have USA, you might want to give it a try. It's pretty good. But it's scale with defense though. Everything about it is scale with defense, so that's kind of lame because if you build high defense, you die to things like Dominic so fucking fast. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of lame. I wish the Wind Harp would scale with HP, but I guess you need to have something to scale with defense in the game, or else it's kind of meaningless. But maybe if he scale with defense, in the future they can give him defense buff as well. That'd be cool. Maybe. I don't know. Potentially.
They could.
But Raccoonie with a slight
I think
heal,
we need to fix something about scaling with defense. Scaling with defense is really bad right now, and there's something wrong with that.
and there's not many units
there's
that
something
scale with defense.
severely wrong with that.
I mean, it's just additionals, right? That's the main
additionals
thing.
are OP.
Maybe just boost additional by defense value. I don't know, a bit more.
Yeah, maybe.
Make it more worthwhile to use.
But then your like defense units that don't have multi hits are just gonna get countered by other defense units that multi hit you.
Just pandas, just absolutely shredding everything else.
We're just creating new problems right now.
True. All right, and I think that is the balance patch, right? That's pretty much it for the balance
everything,
patch.
yeah.
Do you think the meta is gonna change, like overall, after you see the balance patch and playing for like a week? Do you think the meta is gonna change? Oh, we're gonna see the same thing in the next 2 months?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a bit different.
How?
I think we're gonna see a bit less CC, or people who are super CC reliant are gonna be losing a lot more to turn 2.
With the
people who are not
Juno?
adjusting to Water Monkey or to Wind Monkey King, Fire Monkey King are gonna start losing a lot more, I think.
I mean, the thing is, Oliver was like the premier CC unit, right? And now he's a lot weaker into turn 2. He's still strong in turn 1 fights, but he's a lot weaker into turn 2, so that's already a big change.
If you use him into turn 2, you need to have better control. You can't just rely on Oliver being the one-man army, which is good. I mean, it's a good thing that exists.
Yeah.
See, if you're a turn 2 player, you see Oliver first pick, what do you do?
Masha.
Masha.
Yeah, that's probably the best.
We said the exact same thing in opposite order. Yeah, Giou Masha, Giou. Yep. That's how you know. That's how you know that's the exact pick. If both of us say the exact same thing, it has to be the pick.
But then if you're saying that, then
gross.
all the CC player who are shaking their boots right now, what advice do you have for them then? Because they have to adjust. How do they adjust?
Build a good Tesla.
Then Tesla would be pretty
Cesarian, amazing.
Tesla,
I believe in
Herney,
free to
both
play.
great units to have right now.
You also you only picked Oliver, right? So you could potentially pivot. You don't need to go full CC. Just
Oliver can be played really well in like bruisery turn 2e teams. Like Oliver with a Belial is incredibly good.
But he's not like the issue with that is he's not as good in those situations anymore after the nerf.
But he's not like a dead pick, which
pivot.
is kind of nice.
Yeah, he's never.
You at least get a chance after someone hard counters your first pick Oliver.
Yeah.
Because the thing about Oliver is that he will go and then the Giou Masha start going defense break, boom, one shot. So I've been seeing Obabo with the max rest Oliver, right? Do you?
I run crit rate Oliver right now.
Wait, who run max rest Oliver? I forgot.
There's
Somebody.
There's a lot of people who do it.
Shizuka does, I think.
Was it Thompson?
A lot of people.
I don't know. I saw a lot of people starting running max rest Oliver in Korea, being very tanky.
Yeah, Thompson did it, and I think Judas played it as well. I think Say also runs crit rates with Neftis.
He runs crit rate, yeah.
Because Masha usually rocks somewhere below 50 accuracy, even with artifacts.
Yeah.
So with max rest, you hopefully will survive a Masha and not die too quickly to them. So that's another way to adjust your CC comp. Max rest build, unbelievable.
Yeah, max rest Oliver is really good.
Max rest Oliver is really good against all people who run Masha.
Which is like almost every person you face when you pick Oliver.
Pretty much.
So it's probably the best build by far.
It's definitely a good build right now. Right now, it's definitely a good build. I think it's also actually not bad against people who run Giou on max resist without max accuracy, because there's some people who do that. They go max resist Giou on Despair, and sure, Despair counters your 100 resist, but the defense break.
I mean, personally with Giou, I would just put on a crit damage build.
Oh, really?
Like 50.
Giou?
Yeah, I would. Because I'm pretty sure her, like, thing is, I'm pretty sure her buff that she got, like the extra damage, scales with crit damage. So you can hit for like crazy amounts with the crit damage Giou. And you only need it at like 130, right? So you could get her fairly tanky with decent attack on crit damage build. So I think that would actually
just try to get a bit more value out of a unit. Like how last time people did crit damage Josephine, right?
Yeah. And like that way you can also like 1v1 almost any unit with like Giou. Because you cycle out of all your debuffs anyways with the passive and the S2. So you don't gain as much value with resist on her as other units.
True. That's true.
And Oliver will still reset you regardless of resistance, basically. And you pick her into Oliver a lot.
That is also true. Sag. Sag but true. Sag but true.
Like, here's me, like the feeder of Giou, like educating how I would build my...
yes. Haven't used Giou a single second in his life, but like, I'll build Giou like this, guys. Trust me.
I think that's the build, though. Like, just trust me.
I mean, you can definitely try it. It's like no downside to giving it a try.
Yeah, because she can be built so slow anyway. So
yeah,
it's totally fine to just try different things on her max rest, max rest, and max ag, and then maybe some crit damage in between for funny stuff.
Well, yeah, just try everything, right? It's like no real downside to just trying things out and seeing how they work.
All right, so that was the balance patch. Do you guys want to talk about the interview thing we did with the developers, or do you guys forget all about it already? Do you remember anything about that?
I mean, there wasn't that much that we talked about, but yeah.
Because they kind of dodged everything, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
They were.
Pretty much.
Yeah, every question was like about the future of the game, and they were kind of like,
we got hella dodged.
I feel like they were just making, and I feel like they were making excuses for themselves, like why they didn't do certain stuff so much.
Yeah, or why they did something.
Yeah. Because like they were talking about why they didn't give us reasons for changes. And they were saying that they like didn't want to play the game for us, basically, but that's not how it works. Like they can just say like, "Oh, we think Gurkha is overperforming in like 1v4 situations, so we nerfed him." Like that's something they could say, and that doesn't give us like any direction what to do with him right now. So I guess that was pretty lame. But did they say anything that was huge? Like they were giving us the hints about the grind, the UI change. And that happened like 2 days after.
They didn't really give us too much, no.
Yeah, like no leak for new content update at all.
Yeah, I guess we'll
say
see
that.
what happens.
I think almost everything we got was basically like, we're sorry that we made mistakes. We understand that mistakes happen, and we want you guys to understand that we are listening to you, and that
we will do our best.
You know, we are also humans. We're also humans.
Yeah, they are.
Like when you say it felt like a lot of like just them explaining themselves and like quote unquote making excuses. Like it, I am generally a pretty nice person when it comes to this stuff, but that's really how it felt. It really is.
No.
No leaks, guys. Not a single thing at all. Also, the Wi-Fi in Comto's headquarters didn't work as well.
But the Wi-Fi at the after party, Mr. Charmy summons me a Leona.
A Gurkha would be nice.
Airport Wi-Fi was the best.
Dude, Korea, South Korean telecom is goated. I will never just. South Korea, first of all, the service is amazing. Second of all, it's so inexpensive. Third of all, good summons, good runes, good everything.
Oh, summons were really bad. I mean, okay, I got Oliver, but I didn't want Oliver. Up until the airport Wi-Fi saved it. With the something low.
I think most people would say that Oliver's pretty fucking great.
Was it one scroll?
Yeah, but no, like thing is, I had saved LDs for Korea, so I had like 70 LDs. And I didn't save any normal scrolls. I had like 70 LDs and all attributes combined. And then the last all attribute after everything was Oliver. And then I summoned a Camilla at the airport just before I left. And then I converted that one into Sonsang Lao. That's kind of what happened in Korea. So it was still like a decent amount of LDs, I guess, overall.
Alright, I think that is pretty much it for this episode of, I don't know what to call this podcast. Once a year, guys. Once a year. We get to meet again.
Next year.
Maybe.
Next year.
I was so sad when Obabo lost. I was like, would I ever meet him? Ever? And then, oh, he's coming. Yes. Oh, that's great. Amazing.
Yeah, that's good. I hope next year we can do this in person. I think that'd be cool.
It's hard though. Yeah, like Contest has that cool setup where they stream Chronicles. Like, can we just borrow that?
I think one of the things that like actually kind of bothers me about going to like Come To Us events is every time we go, it's always when they drop content and I'm just like, I'm in a hotel room. I can't do anything.
Yeah, it's just hard. I can't believe they launched the game when like all the people who would probably try the game are there.
Yeah, that's true. Except all the EU people, I guess, with no EU server.
It really be like that.
People get shafted again.
I mean, it's kind of fine. I play with 150 ping and it's like kind of fine. But like, they could have launched the Steam globally right at the start, but they didn't. Like now you can play on Steam, but like nobody knows about it, which is kind of sad.
Oh, really? I played from Steam like the moment I could. I downloaded it on Steam.
Yeah, but like, if you're not from from US, you can play on Steam now, which is kind of awesome. All right, I think that's pretty much it for us today. Hope you guys enjoy our little chat about the balance patch. If you enjoyed it, let me know in the comment section down below. If you want to see Obabo and Wants to Love again for all the topics, let us know in the comments. More questions as well. And go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Wants to Love posts once a year. Obabo posts once a day, so that's pretty good. So if you don't see anything from Wants to Love, you get to see content from Obabo. Yeah.
Getting roasted.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me.
Sounds
Much
good.
appreciated.
Thanks for having me.
Also, last note, Korea vlog will be live within a week-ish, maybe a week and a half.
Yeah, so that's like the last thing he's going to post, that yearly video he's going to post for 2022.
Hey, it'll be the best video to put last.
All right, guys. That's pretty much it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Bye.